Mark, this game against Watford turned out to be quite a bruising game. Were you expecting that from them?
I'm not sure about that. They were a little bit direct. We were expecting that in their game plan, and we had to stand up to that. But for the most part, we didn't concede too many clear-cut chances, I didn't think. And once we'd scored, clearly scored at good times, which we'd been damaged by in previous games by conceding at similar times, then once we got our noses in front, we felt that the game was one that we could see out comfortably, which was how it was born out. We didn't pick up any significant injuries, touch wood, and on that basis we've certainly been involved with in more physical games, I would suggest.
I was wondering that because a lot of supporters were sort of surprised that you didn't play like players like Hughes, Shaqiri and Bojan on the bench. Did you leave them out for that particular reason?
Well, we knew they were a more direct team, given that's what our expectation was. It's very difficult sometimes to. At times you've got to match that for a period to allow yourself to play the game that you want to play. So we knew it was a game, wasn't one that I felt was suited to the likes of certainly Bojan G to a certain extent, because he wants to get on the ball, he wants to build it up through the lines, and certainly felt that maybe we weren't going to be allowed to do that to any great degree. So at the end of the day, it's all about picking the side that will enable you to win games, and at the end of the day, that's what I did.
Were you sort of like conscious that, I mean, there's a lot of supporters who felt that kind of let down here not playing these?
Listen, we've got good players, but actually, if I played all my technically gifted players all at the same time, it wouldn't mean we were a great team. You need other qualities and other strengths to get the balance right. So there's only so many of the technically gifted players that you can get into a team at any one time. We just come through a period where it was difficult fixtures to go into, and we did well in terms of performance in my view, but in some of the games that were up against the quality opposition, they took the game away from us, unfortunately. But I think if you look at our record in the Premier League, I looked at it the other day, and actually we've lost 8 games. I think there's only 7 clubs that have lost fewer than ourselves, so that would tell you that actually we're not doing as bad as maybe people were trying to make out. Of those 8 losses, I think 7 of them have come from the teams in the top 8. So you can see that the quality of the top end of the table is really strong this year, maybe more so than it was last year. So although we're in a decent enough position, I think the defeats that we had, to a certain extent, ones that maybe people would expect, but been very few where we've gone under against teams and around us or below us. So 8 defeats is probably, given the strength of the top half of the table, the top 6, 7, it's probably not a bad return, given that there's a lot of other clubs that have lost more games than we have. These runs start and finish, and obviously the quality you're up against changes sometimes, and we had 3 really difficult away games, so interspersed with that we didn't win our home games, we didn't get beaten, we didn't win them, so very quickly people can say, well, you've gone 5 games, 6 games without a win. Hey ho, it is what it is. Similar situation at the beginning of the season, so it's more about the opposition rather than the number of games without a win, and we base the targets and what we try and do throughout the season on the opposition and the likelihood of where we can win and where we're likely to pick up points, so that never changes. So even though we hadn't, as you rightly pointed out, we hadn't won for a few games, we knew there was no panic because we had games coming up that we could do well with.
Thanks.
Okay, no problem.